Some very interesting presentations this evening, and I don't want to get into whether or not carbon is causing global warming or not. There's for every 2 that says this, there's 98 that say that. I don't even want to go that far into whether or not the real science is this way or that way. Let's just ask a couple of questions. In the city, and I want to bring this down to Hermosa Beach, and even closer than that, I want to bring it down to the citizens that live here and what this impact is for them. On a global basis, whether or not it's true or not true or whatever the causes are, what can we do in Hermosa Beach that is going to make a bit of difference to the whole thing? Being the first seems to be of some importance to the City Council and to those people here who feel that that's important. But the slide we were looking at a little while ago said, well, the benefits of carbon neutrality by 2030. And really, I didn't really see much to that. Excuse me. I didn't see much to that. Inspiring our neighbors to do the same thing, being a leader in the area. But really, what's the impact of it? If the entire state of California were to do this, maybe that would have some impact on the environment. If the United States were to do this, it would clearly have an impact on the environment. And it would inspire other countries to do the same thing. But Hermosa Beach is 1.4 square miles. And my problem is that I think most of that impact is not going to be a positive benefit for the universe. It's going to be a negative benefit for the people that actually live here. Now, I realize that there are benefits to having a solar panel on your roof. Let me just say this. Solar power for the city is a great idea. Solar power in your home is a great idea. Having a charging station in your home is a good thing. Electric cars are a great idea. Charging stations at the city and in your homes is those are all fabulous ideas, and they're good for the city. People will save money. We will be helping the environment. We will be helping the city. If we can produce enough energy in the city to pay for the city's energy, and if all of us can produce enough energy to pay for our own homes, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. But one thing I have a problem with is mandating retrofits to existing buildings to improve energy efficiency at the time of sale through rental inspections and prior to issuance of building permits. If you're going to remodel your bathroom and you just want to take the tub out and put a new tub in, you go down to pull a permit and you're going to have to retrofit your house in order to do a $500 remodel in your bathroom. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right for the people that live in that home, whether they can afford it or not. It's mandated that they have to do that, and I think that's wrong. I think that this is, and a number of things, besides it's an incredible expense that a lot of people won't be able to afford, and it'll mean they won't be able to add a bedroom on their house or remodel the bathroom or put new cabinets in the kitchen, whatever it is. They're going to have to retrofit their whole house in order to do that. I think that's a mandate that should not be there, and I think it's an infringement on our property rights. That's been mentioned here several times tonight. So regardless of how lofty a goal carbon neutrality might be, I think that when it boils down to mom and dad living in Hermosa Beach in their house, I think that there are impacts to them that are not worth this program. We want to eliminate the use of natural gas throughout the city and the installation of biogas technologies. Now, biogas is one thing. I'm not sure what that means in terms of where is this biogas being produced. I know that there are systems that you have in your yard that you can put waste in there and it'll produce your own biogas. I'm sure that there must be larger systems that would supply the city with gas through the same pipelines we use now for natural gas. That might be a great idea, changing from natural gas to biogas. But I believe the United States is the largest producer of natural gas in the world, and it's the one thing that's maybe making us independent of Arab nations and oil. But I have to say that I've been a contractor for many years, and I've come across many homes that were built in the 60s, and they're all electric. every single one of the homeowners that had an all-electric house from the 60s would give their eye teeth to get gas in their homes and get rid of ceiling heat and electric stove and electric this and electric that. It wasn't such a great idea in the 60s, and it really isn't such a great idea now. As far as I'm concerned, I would never want to have electric everything in my home. Some electric things are, of course, a great idea, but I think a mix of natural gas and electric is a good thing, whether it be natural gas or biogas. I just can't picture making people do these things. This is, when it gets down to the, once again, when it gets down to the person that lives in Hermosa Beach, what's the impact to him? One of these things here in this report is that we want to we want to mandate public and private clean fuel and electric vehicle infrastructure to facilitate deployment of electric vehicles, neighborhood electric vehicles, and clean fuel vehicles. This is a great idea. There's nothing wrong with that. But we want to modify parking standards and programs to disincentivize conventionally fueled automobiles. Essentially, in order to achieve carbon neutrality without buying offsets, we're going to have to ban gasoline-powered automobiles from our city. What kind of an effect is that going to have on the businesses in Hermosa Beach? What about the people, for instance, the guy that said he worked downtown and he can't take a bicycle downtown? I'm a contractor. I can't put 10 sheets of drywall on a bicycle and go to work every day. We have to have these vehicles. People are going to have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get rid of their old car and buy an electric vehicle and then retrofit their house to charge it, and so on and so forth. So once again, some of these ideas in here are, when they boil down to the person who lives here, is going to be very expensive and be a burden to them. And finally, I want to ask some questions, and maybe these will just be food for thought. I don't know what the answers are, but I want to know why, first of all, why is this need to be in our general plan? Cannot we have a CCA and a policy of carbon neutrality without putting it into our general plan and making it untouchable for the next 30 years? This is something that's codified in there. Why do we have to be the first to do this? Why do we have to do this by 2030? Maybe 2040 is a better idea. If we're gonna have carbon neutrality at all, and we're going to work on this, I don't understand why we need to exceed the state mandate and do it by 2030. I think carbon offsets is I can't think of a name for it that's nice. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of a politically correct word to say what carbon offsets are. I think it's a very wrong idea. I guess let me put it that way. It's a very wrong idea to throw money at a problem. That in order to achieve some mythical standard of carbon neutrality, we're going to give money to some other place so that they can become carbon neutral, and that's somehow going to help the environment, and that makes us carbon neutral. It just makes no sense to me. So I'd like people to think about those things. I'd like people to think about what the potential benefits of this carbon neutrality is in general, and then I'd like people to think about what does it mean to you as a resident in Hermosa Beach. Are you prepared for a mandate from the building department that you must do this when you buy or sell a house or remodel a house? Are you prepared to pay the extra dollars for these things? I think solar panels is a great idea. I don't have them. I want them myself, and I'm looking into it right now. But that's because I can do that. My neighbor maybe can't afford it, doesn't have the right kind of roof, et cetera, et cetera. Why should he be made to do those things? I don't like it when the government tells me I have to do this. I like it when the government says, we want you to do this, and we're going to help you do it. We're going to figure out a way to make it better for you or easier or cheaper for you to do it. I want people to do things because it's the right thing to do, it's the best thing to do, and not because the government told them they had to do it. I think that's wrong. So that's my thoughts on this. If I had to make a statement about one alternative or the other, you know, I think alternative 2 is a great thing, except for the carbon neutrality thing. I just have a problem with that.